Well, hello, friends, and welcome to my next live stream. Today is October 12th, 2023. Tonight we're gonna talk about a few topics like drawing with intent, like really getting to the 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 intention of the thoughts and feelings and the kind of the purpose of those figures in the drawing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some shorthand techniques that a person can develop over time to really speed up the drawing process, and use fewer lines to get the message across, and just ultimately make that process of generating ideas much faster, because we kind of want to separate the process. We want to have a bit of a separation between the idea generation part of the process and then the structure and the foundation and the cleaning up of the image. We want to separate those two things because they're very different parts of the brain that are used for those disciplines, the idea generating and then the refining. It's two very different parts of the brain. So we want to separate those so we're not having our right brain and our left brain fighting quite so much. So we can make the process as enjoyable as possible. Really, that's the name of the game. I'm I'm gonna open up a new document though, and I was thinking a fun way to cover tonight's topic would be to actually just key out some rough animation. Just kind of go straight ahead and just play around with that. So I'm thinking that's what we're gonna kind of focus on in this session. The image that you see right now is something that I'm working on. This is for the latest prompt word in the Inktober 2023, which is spicy. So I was actually struggling a little bit to land on a concept that I really liked for this one. Actually, I have some of those earlier thumbnails and stuff. Just again, I think thematically and talking point wise, a lot of this is actually relevant to what I wanted to cover tonight anyway. It kind of comes back to that idea of right brain, left brain, and trying to generate the idea or land on an idea that feels worthy of that investment of time that's going to be required to do the structure and do the cleanup and do the ink and do the shading and do all those things. It's a bit of a significant time investment. So we want the idea to be good, because if the idea is good, even if you have to cut a corner, even if something kind of gets fudged along the way, the strength of the idea is gonna let the viewer forgive or even not even see those technical mistakes or those corners that were cut, because the idea is just gonna connect so strongly with the viewer that they don't really care. They're not going out of their way looking for these little mistakes. So I busted out a handful of thumbnail images that you can see here, all trying to tap into that theme of spicy, and it was a bit of a struggle. doesn't always, the ideas don't always flow. Some days it takes a little bit more effort than other days, but that is the process. Not every day is going to be generating great material so easily. I kind of did this idea here, the dude and the pepper. It's kind of on the nose. It's a very obvious choice, so I wasn't really sold on that. I had an idea that I thought was actually kind of funny, which was going to be sort of an X-ray image, and the X-ray would actually be sweating because there would be probably like a heartburn or some kind of fiery situation going on down below. And I thought that was pretty funny, but I wasn't sure if the end result would really be something I'd be that excited by, so I wasn't totally sold on that. You can see I was trying to I got a bit hung up on that idea a couple times. This one actually has a sweating skull inside there, but again, then I was thinking about the time I would have to invest to really make an X-ray image work on screen. It would really be a considerable amount of rendering, and I just didn't feel that the idea was strong enough to justify investing that much time. Then there was this one, like dude putting a sort of angry little pepper about to pop it in his mouth. Okay, sure, yeah. Then I did this one, this little idea, but this didn't really say spicy to me so much. If anything, this would probably work better for slimy. Just a slimy dude in the club. So that didn't really feel appropriate for spicy as a prompt word. And I was thinking to myself, maybe I'm just trying to be a little bit too clever. What if we simplify it? What if we literally boil it down to just a simple, heartfelt, kind of wholesome image of maybe somebody's abuela or something like that at the stove working on a batch of sauce, or maybe a salsa, or maybe a hot sauce, or just something simple and wholesome like that. And I actually really liked that idea. That felt like something, I can really sink my teeth into that idea. I can have fun. The rendering is going to be fun. The shading is going to be fun. Bringing out a personality on the abuela is going to be fun. And then I started thinking about the shading style that I might use, because some of my last images were very hard lights and darks, like a very hard, sharp separation between those shades. So with this one, I was thinking maybe I could go more into a very organic rendering style with more ambient occlusions and just have some fun with that. And so that really appealed to me. And so the next step after that, of course, is to take that small thumbnail image and blow it up, so to speak, and start working from that. So where that's at right now is my red line drawing, which is like a semi-rough drawing, and that'll be the pass where I start to establish more of the forms and more of the structure and more of the foundation, so that when I do move on to the inking stage, I like to keep my ink work, whether it's digital on here or whether it's actually using ink on paper, I like to keep my ink work fairly fluid and organic. I don't really want to feel like I'm just tracing the underdrawing. That doesn't appeal to me. I want every step of the process to feel like I'm building on the step before, not just carbon copy tracing it, but if there's maybe something that I overlooked or some part of the drawing that I can strengthen, then I want to do that each step of the way. Let me go ahead and save this, and let's get a flip book open. So let's do a new flip book. We'll just put it at the defaults there. So, drawing with intention, getting to the point, getting to the heart of the drawing. These are skills that help a lot during the generation of ideas. So what I'm doing right now is kind of what the drawings would look like if I was just exploring without any real idea of where the drawings are going. And then we'll jump in a little bit closer and kind of analyze some of the line usage and the choices and whatnot going in there. Because I was mentioning about shorthand techniques, and what does that really mean? What is a shorthand technique? Well, a shorthand technique is really, rather than, let's say I'm drawing an arm, okay, maybe somebody's showing off the guns a little bit. And I'm thinking about the structure and I'm thinking about the form as I draw. So it's this thing about drawing structurally without necessarily having to draw all the cylinders and whatnot that are underneath. Okay. Something like that. So that took, not too long, but if we're trying to generate ideas, we don't want to be getting bogged down in all these details just yet. Because what if I don't even like the position of this arm? What if I don't even like the pose of that arm? Then I want to feel okay with discarding that and moving on without feeling any kind of remorse for the time put into it. So having a shorthand for something like that is really about simplification and boiling the shapes down. So we can get the same impact like that. And that gets the point across of the drawing. We have these really fun straights contrasted with these kind of bouncy curves. And something like that is going to take only a fraction of the time that the previous one took. And if I'm generating ideas, or if I'm trying to, like I was showing with that spicy prompt word, I was having a bit of a hard time landing on something that I really liked. But each of those exploration drawings was only an investment of maybe 15, 20, 30 seconds, maybe a minute at most for some of them. And that allows the pace of generating those ideas to come much, much faster. And especially if we're keying out some animation straight ahead, we don't want to be getting bogged down in details just yet. I'm going to kind of make up the forms and the structure as we go. What should this person be doing? Let's start with let's just start with a nice, maybe we're kind of mid action. But I'm going to use similar shorthands here, and I'm not even necessarily going to try to draw every little detail. Because again, if I don't like something, like I'm not crazy about that arm, well then I want to have no issues with just blowing that away. Thinking if we kind of set them up this way, there might be a chance for some more shape change there. Which now it's going to give me a chance to so drawing in shorthand right now is going to be really helpful to let me explore. Oops. Oh yeah, that drawing is still in there. And yeah, struggling to find a position for that leg that I like. Maybe I'll just simplify it. kind of like that. So you can see those straights on the one side of the arm, and the more it really it's a simple versus complex relationship. And we might have maybe a bit of a plant here. The other thing that I'm focusing on is the energy, not really the lines themselves, but am I capturing the right energy? With those drawings. A little compression there. Maybe this one come down a little bit more. But this is very similar to the way that I would draw during idea generation or searching. Where'd that other hand go? I think that's probably over here. A little bit of perspective. Let's put something before this so we can kind of have, yeah, I'll get rid of this one actually. So we're going to precede this with more of a stretch down. Maybe we'll go a little bit with the a bit of a lunging step that might come, and I have to think about the structure off camera as well. Maybe that character really is really lunging into that. I'm going to need another drawing in between here and here as well. So let's move that ahead. There we go. Now I can add a new one here. Now a drawing like this is really fun because I have to think about where I'm coming from and where I'm going to. So those shorthand techniques really help to speed up that searching process here. arm is in a bit of a swing through there. Here the arm would be extended back, and then it's probably swinging through here. And maybe we can add the other arm. Might be on the far side over there. And I'll just do the quick few planes of the head. Get there, we get there. We get our little compression there. Let's do one more. It's going to be a roll there. Probably get a lot looser with this drawing now. There's probably some fingers kind of doing the last push off there, and probably getting a bit of a compression here. See, now I'm just kind of searching quite a bit now. And maybe that other leg is curling in here, getting ready for a step out of that roll on the other end. This would probably technically need to be just a touch lower down to feel like it's on the same plane. Let's do another one. Oh yeah, there's another hand back there somewhere. Or probably we might end up with an arm trailing back or something, and then there'd be the roll will be complete. So we've got our little entrance, our little lunge, and it's really interesting when you draw images in sequence like this for a piece of animation, because notice at the beginning I was much more deliberate, I guess, about putting down there's a ball for the hips, and there's a lemon wedge for the body, and there's a shape for the skull. And redrawing the same figure over and over and over again in a series of poses, or even, you know, even like doing the the thumbnails for those. You're going to be boiling down just to the essence not worrying about structure and anatomy and all that, because that can come later. But if the idea isn't there and working, then you can put as much window dressing and you can do the most beautiful rendering, but it's still going to be weak because the idea wasn't really tested, wasn't really refined. Let's do a non-animated thing here just to wrap up, because I unfortunately have to keep the live stream a little bit on the shorter side tonight because I have some other things lined up still. But talking about intention, drawing with intention, some great exercises that can build that comfort level to really draw forcefully, draw bold, is to actually use a bold tool. Like I'm using a fountain pen in here, and that allows for these really fun, bold lines. And it's a great way to practice just getting comfortable with using these bold lines and bold shapes. Bit of a whatever that is. But, you know, it's not essential that we just do, you know, you gotta just use one line, and if you don't get it on the first line, then it's not you're not doing it right, or something like that. There is no doing it right. It's just, does it feel good, right? Are you enjoying the process? But even though I'm searching a little bit with the lines this time around, I'm not really laboring the lines, and I think that's really important, to let there be a bit of a flourish, and to let the lines come a little fast and furious. It kind of doesn't really give your logical brain too much of a chance to say, hey, but that should look like that, and hey, this should actually be over here. I'm noticing lately that the head the character's head keeps ending up being the very last thing I draw, and that was never like a conscious decision. Oh, I'm gonna draw the head last. I just noticed that it's been It's been happening that way a lot lately. Not sure why. But maybe it's something to do with the fact that I kind of like to build characters from the ground up, in a manner of speaking, so that they feel grounded, they feel rooted in their surroundings, whatever those surroundings are. He's got a little drink here or something. He's probably on holiday. But you can also see here that in terms of the staging, I'm trying to be really mindful of having very clear positive shapes, negative shapes. You can see the arm is very clear in silhouette. You don't always have to have absolutely everything in silhouette for a drawing to work, but it helps, staging wise, making sure that the image that you're putting across is going to be nice and clear. But again, it's not necessarily something that I'm going out of my way to establish. You know, these are the positive shapes and these are the negative shapes. It's something that I'm feeling out as I'm going, but keeping those lines quick and loose and fresh and really searching for an energy, searching for a vibe, searching for a feeling, and then the lines become sort of a vehicle to do that. Yeah. So, like I said, a little bit shorter this week. Also, feel my my voice is a little tired today, so I don't want to overstress it. So if you joined live, thanks again for that support and showing an interest. And if you're catching this after it's been posted up on the channel, I thank you again. When I see the new subscriptions coming in, and when I see the comments, it really brightens my day. I really love seeing that people are showing an interest. So please keep it coming. If you know somebody who might be interested, let them know. I'm mainly just doing this because I find it interesting. But if there are maybe topics, or if somebody even wants to, I don't know, here's a crazy idea. If somebody even wants to submit a drawing to me, I could even offer some tips here. It's open for debate. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. Hope to see some more interest and activity, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.